Welcome to the Explainer. So today we're actually decoding the real underlying mechanics of self-improvement. We're going to look at the incredibly powerful science behind our daily routines, and we'll discover exactly why typical goal setting, the kind we all do, often leads straight to burnout.
Let's just start with a quick reality check, because we've literally all been there. You set this massive New Year's resolution, or maybe you decide you're finally going to get into peak physical shape, or vow to study 3 hours every single night. You're super motivated for about, a week? And then you just stop. Welcome to the graveyard of good intentions. So why does this happen? Why can't we ever seem to stick to the behaviors we know are good for us? Well, the answer might actually surprise you, because the problem usually isn't your willpower at all.
Here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover 1. The problem with goals, 2. The power of systems, 3. How habits shape your identity, and 4. The 4-step habit loop.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, the problem with goals. So think about trying to make the varsity track team. The whole purpose of setting a goal is to win that specific race, right? Or to make that specific roster. It's a one-and-done achievement. But the purpose of building a system, like your daily stretching routine, your nutrition, your sleep schedule, is to continue playing the game indefinitely. If you only focus on the goal, you kind of fall victim to this yo-yo effect. Basically, as soon as the race is over or that big exam is passed, you just stop training or studying because that goal is gone. It's no longer there to push you. Systems, on the other hand, keep you moving forward long-term.
And honestly, here's a massive flaw in our psychology. Goals actively restrict our happiness. The implicit assumption behind literally any goal is, once I reach this milestone, then I'll be happy. You're constantly putting your happiness on hold until you get that perfect grade, or land the perfect job, or buy the perfect car. You're basically putting yourself in this tiny, narrow box. Either you achieve the goal and you're a success, or you fall short and you're a disappointment. It's exhausting.
Which brings us to Section 2, the power of systems.
Okay, the absolute secret to massive growth is astonishingly simple. 1%. That's it. Just 1%. We have to remove this immense pressure we put on ourselves for overnight success. If you just aim to get 1% better every day, sure, it seems completely insignificant in the moment. But over time, those tiny improvements accumulate like crazy. It's really all about endless refinement and continuous improvement, rather than trying to make these massive, exhausting leaps.
You can think of habits as literally the compound interest of self-improvement. Think about saving up for a car. Putting away $10 a week definitely doesn't feel like you're buying a car today, but over time, that money multiplies, right? Well, the exact same thing goes for your actions. Getting 1% better every single day counts for a massive amount in the long run. The catch is, the most powerful outcomes of any compounding process are always delayed. You just have to be patient and let the system run its course.
And that brings us to what an atomic habit actually is. It's not just a small habit. Think of a literal atom. Atoms are the foundational building blocks of molecules, right? Well, similarly, atomic habits are the foundational building blocks of remarkable results. They're these little, tiny routines that act as components of a much, much larger system of compound growth. So yeah, they're small, but they are incredibly mighty.
I really want you to remember this quote because it perfectly summarizes the entire philosophy we've talked about so far. You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Seriously, if you're having trouble changing your habits, the problem isn't you. You don't lack the desire to improve, you just have the wrong system for change. Your success is always going to default to the quality of your daily routines.
Moving on to Section 3, habits shape your identity. Now, most people start by focusing on outcome change, basically what they want to get, like the goal is to read a book. But true, lasting behavior change, that's identity change. It's shifting to the goal is to become a reader. See, anyone can convince themselves to go to the gym once or twice, but if you don't shift the fundamental belief behind that behavior, it's virtually impossible to stick with it long term. When your behavior and your identity are fully aligned, doing the right thing actually becomes easy. Why? Because you're simply acting like the type of person you already believe yourself to be.
So, how do we actually pull this off? It's a super practical 2-step process. First, decide the exact type of person you want to be. Let's say you really want to ace your classes. You decide, okay, I am a studious person. Second, you have to prove it to yourself with small wins. When it's time to do homework, you literally ask yourself, what would a studious person do right now? Would they scroll on their phone for an hour, or would they crack open their textbook? You use those small atomic habits to build up undeniable proof of your new identity.
You see, you aren't born with preset beliefs about yourself. Your identity literally emerges directly out of your habits. Every single time you read a page, you're casting a vote for being a reader. Every time you practice a math problem, you cast a vote for being a studious person. And the best part? You don't need a unanimous decision to change your identity. You really just need a majority of the votes.
All right, let's wrap things up with Section 4, the 4-step habit loop.
So, any habit can be broken down into a feedback loop that involves 4 exact steps: cue, craving, response, and reward. This pattern, right here, it's the backbone of every single habit you have, whether it's good or bad. And your brain runs through these 4 steps in the exact same order every single time, without fail.
Step 1 is the cue. The cue triggers your brain to initiate a behavior. It's basically just a little bit of information that predicts a reward. Think about your phone buzzing from across the room. Your brain notices that sound, and boom, it acts as the starting line. It immediately signals that there's something out there to be gained.
Step 2 is the craving, and this is the real motivational force. Here's the thing. You don't actually crave the habit itself. You crave the change in state it delivers. You don't crave the physical act of turning on your phone screen, right? You crave the feeling of connection or the quick entertainment from reading a text message. Desire is what initiates the action. Without that craving, you simply have zero motivation to act.
Step 3 is the response. This is the actual habit you perform, which could be a thought or a physical action. Picking up your phone and opening the app, that's the response. But here is the catch. Our brains are fundamentally lazy. If the response requires more physical or mental effort than you're willing to expend, you just won't do it. The habit has to be easy enough for you to actually execute in the moment.
Finally, step 4 is the reward. The response delivers a reward, and rewards serve 2 very basic purposes. They satisfy us, and they teach us. Reading that text message satisfies your craving for connection. But far more importantly, it closes the feedback loop. Your brain is essentially a giant reward detector. It logs that exact feeling of satisfaction and teaches you, hey, this specific action is absolutely worth remembering and repeating the next time I hear the phone buzz. Now, if a behavior is insufficient in literally any of these 4 stages, it simply will not become a habit. So if you want to break a bad habit, you just invert the rules. Eliminate the cue by putting your phone in another room. Reduce the craving by highlighting all the negative aspects of being distracted. Make the behavior difficult by using app blockers. And finally, ensure the reward fails to satisfy you. Without those first 3 steps, a behavior won't even happen. But without all 4, it will never, ever be repeated.
We have covered a massive amount of ground today, from the hidden dangers of goal setting to the simple mechanics of your brain's habit loop. So I want to leave you with this final, crucial thought to reflect on. Are your daily atomic habits voting for the person you want to become tomorrow? Stop stressing over massive, life-altering goals. Start hacking your tiny atomic systems and let the compound interest of self-improvement do the rest. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.